Hey, good afternoon, YouTubers. This is Francis. It's a Sunday afternoon, about 3 p.m., and it, it's July 20th. Um, I haven't been made a video in probably a week. Uh, I've been very distressed about the world's current events. Um, I think the world is going nuts. The conflict in Israel and the Gaza Strip is, to me, is a horrible turn of events. Um, these terrorists are launching thousands of rockets toward into its cities inside the state of Israel. And if it wasn't for the Israelis' military defensive shield called the Iron Dome, probably thousands of Israelis would have been killed already. And unfortunately, their missile defense system works. And, I fully support Israel because everybody has a right to defend themselves. And they were willing to cease fire, but um, the unreasonable Palestinian terrorists who are in control of these rockets just never observed the ceasefire. They just keep launching and launching and launching and doing what they can to destroy Israel. So um, I've listened on the radio about this conflict. Can you imagine if two-thirds of our country, all the people couldn't go to work and they were like spending half their time in bomb shelters um, because of rockets being launched towards cities and inside the United States? Would we tolerate that? I don't think so. Okay. So all the people that are faulting Israel for this are definitely wrong. Um, Israel has a right to exist, and they're a democratic nation, and they're an ally of our country, the United States of America. And anybody who, I understand that everybody's for peace, except there's some people that are not for peace. And um, sometimes people that are just genocidal and will not agree to peace at all. Sometimes those people just need to die and go away because, we want peace in our world. We don't want things that can escalate into a nuclear war. Also, I realize that maybe the downing of this 777 flight MH17 over the Ukraine, maybe that was a mistake. Okay, we don't know for sure, but the Russian group that was in charge of firing that missile at that plane, well, they should be straightforward and honest about it. Okay, they're trying to cover all this up, and they're not allowing the international group or to go in there and investigate. And it seems to me Russia should take supervision of this problem and allow a complete, thorough, and independent investigation, about how that plane was taken down. Okay, so um, if you want to be a member of the international community, you have to abide by certain standards of behavior. And you know, I think, if it was an honest mistake, it's a tragedy, but um, it needs to be admitted. Okay, I mean the truth has to come out, and so we are living in very dangerous and hard times, and so and I thought it was like kind of, is it really a coincidence? You know, all those people, a lot of people on that plane were going to Australia for some, they were AIDS researchers and they were leaders in their field of medical research. You know, sometimes you have to wonder, you know, why was that plane chosen? I mean, I heard on the radio that that same day, 3 or 4 other commercial airlines flew through that airspace. And then in the previous 7 to 10 days, there was 3 other planes, Ukrainian, that were cargo planes, got shot down by these Russian proponents faction in eastern Ukraine. So apparently, commercial airliners have been flying through that airspace for quite a bit recently, and none of them got targeted except this one plane. Okay, so then you have to say, well, was just a purely coincidental, or was it really intentional by somebody that doesn't want this AIDS research people to continue to live? I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm just an ordinary person listening to radio, and I don't really see things on TV because I don't have a TV network. But you know, I just listen on talk radio, and I hear it all. You know, sometimes I listen to radio 18 to 20 hours a day, and all these different talk shows, and they're all talking about these current events. And there's definitely a loss of control of our border, and there could be terrorists and drug dealers and drug smugglers getting their wares through across the border when our border control agents are busy with all these kids that are coming across the border. So, you know, um, sometimes these kids may be totally innocent, but the fact that they're coming across the border illegally is tying up our resources so that certain evil, illegal people coming in here with maybe terrorist activities and for a future event, they're not getting stopped or picked up because our border patrol is tied up with all these kids. You know, it's not a babysitting service here. And so, wake up, America. Things seem to be coming to a head. And if you don't smarten up soon, there may be millions of Americans dying, okay, here within this country. So I hope that never happens, but sometimes you have to look at the stark reality of, you know, things that may happen, could happen, and maybe someday will happen. And so who are we going to point? We're going to do stand around, point the finger of blame at everybody, you know, or are we going to do something positive and control the situation? All right. So, anyways, 9 minutes. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Went to church today. I was feeling okay. I took the bus and met with a few other church members, and we went out to lunch and had a good lunch. I had a breakfast meal. I had a ham and cheese and veggie omelet, and so it was like a breakfast meal with hash browns and a biscuit. And boy, it was delicious. You know, I don't normally eat that stuff, and I've really gone off my diet this past week. You know, I've been over to Carmen's Pie House twice and had 2 different kinds of 10-inch thin crust pizzas. And I haven't really been eating much at home. I cooked a couple of rice dishes. I made a rice dessert with coconut, shredded coconut, whole grain rice, some stevia to sweeten it up with some cinnamon, and salt, and and it tasted like a dessert, but anyways, it needs some more perfection or additives because it tastes good, but it's could be a little creamier. Maybe I need to add some cream, milk, or something else, some other dairy product. I don't know, but I'm trying to live dairy free here. So when you cook something, it's got coconut oil, shredded coconut, white rice. Sweeten it up with some stevia, and then sprinkle cinnamon on it. It's sort of like a cinnamon rice pudding, and it's not as tasty as bread pudding with raisins. Maybe I could throw some raisins in there. I don't know, but I'm working on a new recipe, and maybe I'm just in the ground stages of it. But I also want to thank uh, other people that have been watching my videos and complimenting me. I want to thank Shay and Ricky for all the good compliments about my cooking. And I generally don't. I cook simple meals. Okay, I don't make elaborate meals or salads or anything like that. I'm kind of like maybe a short order cook, right? And so I only cook a few things each day, and I live off of that. So I may have a vitamin deficiency. Some of you think I have a brain deficiency, I'm sure. But anyways, I'm having fun. I've been very depressed lately. I'm not happy with um, my dosages. This spironolactone seems to have affected me. Sometimes when I stand up, I get very dizzy, and sometimes if I get up too fast and start walking around to the bathroom or somewhere, I get kind of, I don't lose my balance and fall down, but I get lightheaded, and then I kind of I might, have to grab a wall or something to steady myself. So, anyways, I'm going to be getting my blood tested. Today's the 20th, right? Yeah, probably in 3 weeks. And then I also have an appointment with my cardiologist next month in 4 weeks, 4 weeks. So, anyways, so we'll see what happens there. So basically, I've been taking, I think, 150 or 200 milligrams a day spironolactone, and really that's the only HRT medicine I'm on. And the other two medications I take daily are for my cardiologist, and actually I take a total of 4 medications. Okay, so it really isn't that much. Two of them are like diuretics, and the other two have to do with my heart health, whatever. I don't know exactly what they do. It's just that I have to take uh, every day. I have to take 2 medications for my heart, and the other two, spironolactone and there's something called furosemide. They're like diuretic anti-water retention pills. So anyways, so that spironolactone is used to control people's water retention. It isn't just used for transgender people. Okay, so one of the side effects is that it interferes with testosterone. But basically, I think most of my testosterone's already been blocked on a low dose because of the situation I have down there. My gonads, I don't think have worked right for 30 years. Okay, it's been a long time. So I think I've had low T and low whatever else gets produced down there for decades. So anyways, this spironolactone, I think it's, if for me to take 200 milligrams a day, that's what they're prescribing normal people. I don't think I need to take that much, okay? But one thing I noticed that I read, when you take spironolactone, it's like a T blocker. Those effects on your body are reversible, okay? Because that's what it said. I did some research about this in the last week or two. And so I don't feel like any permanent changes are going to occur to my body. And so I'm not too happy about that. And so anyways, I've decided to let things continue as they are for another month. And after I see my endocrinologist next month, we're going to have a discussion. And then based on what I'm allowed to take after that point, I will keep you all informed, okay? But anyways, just wanted to give you a quick update about what's happening with Fran-Sez. I go over to the pool a couple days a week, get my leg kicks and exercise in. I have been doing a lot of walking between bus stops. I've been taking the bus downtown, or around here, 2-3 days a week. And sometimes when I leave, I'm gone 6 or 7 hours. And so I've been very active. But when I come home in the evening or late afternoon, I'm very tired. And besides dizziness I've experienced, I've been very tired, and I haven't watched, I've only been watching a small fraction of YouTube videos compared to what I used to watch. And there are many videos in my feed from different people that I haven't had the time or desire to watch. I mean, sometimes I come home and I'm just so tired and run down, I just go to bed. I mean, I turn on the radio and I listen to the radio. I've been listening to these talk shows and, keeping track of what's going on, as far as Israel, the downing of this 777 in Ukraine. And there's all kinds of things going on with our national government, the border in Texas there, all these illegal immigrants crossing the border. We have no border control. It's like the United States is no longer a sovereign nation. We're letting all these people come in from all over the place. And they have flown some people back to Honduras, but I heard on the radio yesterday, they flew like 50 people back to Honduras. I mean, come on, huh? There's thousands of them coming across the border, I mean, a week. There might be hundreds a day. What's 50? 50 is nothing. And they're coming here because, certain people in our leadership has told them they won't be sent back. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, and I've been listening to it too. All the people that stood in line, had to pay money, had to get medically tested and everything. And there's a lot of people that married someone overseas and they're living in Europe or wherever, and their spouses can't even come to the United States because they're waiting for a green card or a visa. And there's people that are actually married to somebody and their spouse is stuck over in their country and haven't even got permission to come to the United States yet. But we're letting all these thousands and thousands of kids and illegal people just cross the border and come in here, and they got all these diseases and things that will affect our national health,
and we have to pay for all the welfare. And I heard that some people, it was costing $200 a day to take care of each child that comes across. $200 a day? Give me a break. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's $1,400 a week. Some people on Social Security don't even make $1,400 a month. And the federal government is just throwing all these millions and billions of dollars down this rat hole. I mean, this is ridiculous. So, I mean, let's wake up, huh? You know, our economy is getting destroyed, people, and pretty soon nobody's going to be getting a federal benefit check because the federal government's going to be bankrupt, and we're all going to be out on the street because we won't be able to pay our rent, okay, or buy food, okay. So, I mean, people better wake up, and people that have come into this country legally and went through all the hoops, and it took years and money and medical things and all this stuff, and some of those people are still waiting in line to get here. They're totally against this open border and just letting people pour in here, okay? You can't blame them, really, okay? I mean, my grandparents came here from Canada, okay? Back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, okay? You know, my grandparents were born in Canada and they migrated to the United States, but I'm sure they obtained their U.S. citizenship the legal way. You know, they had to go through it just like everybody else. So, you know, my family on both sides were never around like in the 1700s or even the 1800s, you know. I mean, they migrated here in the early 1900s. So that was about 100 years ago, okay? So basically, I'm a third generation American citizen that came from Canada. You know, my family came here 100 years ago, like, you know, 40, 50 years before I was even born. So, I mean, you know, we have to abide by our laws. I mean, otherwise, you know, we're going to be destroyed as a nation. And this is not about love and things. People are just coming here from everywhere. We're being allowed to let everybody in, and we can't afford it. We're $17 trillion in debt. And every dollar that we spend to house these illegal people is money we're borrowing and have to pay back, and who's going to pay for it? I'll tell you my solution. These countries that are sending these people here will document where they're from, and any financial aid that we usually send to these countries, it should be marked on the ledger. Every person that comes here illegally from that country, their financial aid gets cut. So the cost of us housing and taking care of these kids is charged against the financial aid some of these countries get. And you know how fast things will get turned around? Pretty quick. Because it seems like the only thing that really counts is where the money goes, okay? So when these countries realize that they're not going to get any financial aid from the United States, or we're going to do sanctions against them financially because they're not cooperating with our immigration laws, well, things will change, okay? Because the dollar talks and everything else walks, okay? So that's what Fran-Sez's opinion is, and maybe some politicians with some common sense will maybe follow my recommendation. And, you know, I hope so. I hope something is done to stem the tide, because we can't take any more of these people. In fact, most of them that came over here need to be sent back. And who's going to pay for that? I think it should come out of the financial aid that's budgeted for that country next year. the next fiscal year, okay? So you don't send them anything. Cut them off like that. Nothing. Send them nothing. Maybe that'll wake them up. Bye.